Hello there, I am Jaime Elizondo, and I would like to welcome you to today's blog, Understanding Plant and Soil Succession. Before we start, I want to give you some good news. If you weren't ready to join the Total Grazing Academy this year, but are committed to regenerating your land with livestock, then I want to invite you to join the Total Grazing program, which is the first pillar of the Total Grazing Academy. This way, you can be ready to join the Academy when it opens again, and you can start now. Whether you are a new grazier starting from scratch or an experienced rotational grazier who wants to have his or her land regenerated with your livestock, the universal principles taught in the Total Grazing Program online course will equip you to maximize your productivity and regenerate your land. Enrollment is open today, and I will close this Thursday, so make sure you enroll. Go to www.rwranching.com/grazing-pillar, all in one word. The Total Grazing Program is one of the 4 pillars that will create real wealth in your land and in your life. And here is what you will put into action. Plan and set up your fence and water infrastructure in a simple and low-cost way. Implement the Total Grazing Program correctly. React fast when there is mud. Define when and for how long you will stockpile. Transition from selective grazing to the total grazing. And to celebrate your commitment to improving your grazing to transform your soil, your grass, and your life, I am adding all the support and bonuses offered by the Total Grazing Academy free of charge. And this includes 7 weeks of live group coaching sessions, access to an exclusive coaching forum where you can share pictures and videos and get your answers right away, 3 months of Fat Wallet Ranchers, which is an incredible membership for continuous growth and unstoppable momentum. You will also get the Jumpstart Success Kit and the Q&A sessions both. So go to www.rwranching.com/grazing-pillar to enroll today before enrollment closes this week. At Real World Ranching, we strive to give you maximum productivity while your land improves the fastest, including plant and soil succession. We know that we can use our livestock, hoops, and grazing to improve our grasses and our soils by creating lush and leafy pastures in the regrowth, which by allowing them to grow to full recovery, creates strong and deep roots. But we also need to be conscious of plant and soil succession, which can be defined as an ecological process of change in a plant community that occurs over time in response to management. This ecological process is important to understand because it will help to make correct management decisions to improve your land. Your soil's quality, or more specifically, its humus content, will determine which grass species can establish and prosper. Then, your management will determine which grasses or forest species will dominate your land. Why? As I have explained in previous posts, the way that humus, or soil's slow cycling carbon, is created by the soil microorganisms' bodies when they are digested by other microorganisms for many generations, with the final digestion carried out by fungi, which after a process of maturation is called humus, or soil's real fertility. Okay, when our soil is improved by increasing its humus levels, it starts to behave differently. Your soil starts to hold more water and release it on demand to your plants, which will have stronger and deeper roots if you manage your grazing correctly. Note that I said managed correctly. Your higher humus content soil will also release more nitrogen, and your plants will start to grow faster and longer in dry conditions, as this type of nitrogen feeding is not impaired by dry soil conditions. This means that your desirable plant composition will improve as your soil improves. This is plant succession, where pioneer species prepare the soil for intermediate species and finally for climax species, which will give much higher productivity per acre and feed your livestock better as they have a higher quality. How can you know which species are better? Besides palatability, we can observe the width and length of the green leaves, the green leaves to stem ratio, and how long they stay green into the dry or cold season. This makes a lot of sense, as when it gets dry or cold, the only plants to remain green and palatable will get clobbered by livestock or wildlife, and after being continuously overgrazed, they will die and go extinct, right? Imagine a large paddock where it gets very dry or cold, and all plants turn brown, but some species somehow manage to stay green and palatable. Will the livestock go to them and eventually kill them by repeated grazing? Yes. I have seen this happen in the dry mountains of Mexico, where in their winters and snow, the only grasses to stay green were preferentially grazed under the previous rotational grazing management, and are now a very large part of the grass on offer after the total grazing program implementation. I also observed this in Mediterranean environments in Europe, where they no longer have warm season perennials in their pastures, and the same is happened in California. In Europe, they no longer have warm season perennials in their pastures, as livestock have been grazing continuously for over 1,000 years. The best plant species got overgrazed, that means regrazed many times, without giving them the chance to recover, and that ultimately killed them. If in this soil and plant succession we do not manage our grazing correctly, the land will start to go back to its formerly degraded condition. And this is what I have been observing worldwide. On dry or brittle environments, after many years of overgrazing brought about by continuous grazing that leaves the soil bare and stays bare, which means the land is desertifying. Then a biocrust forms on the soil surface, or a cryptogram crust. This is nature's way of protecting the soil, but it's only an early succession, from bare soil to a biocrust or cryptogram soil. And that impedes water from infiltrating into the soil, and productivity is seriously impeded if we allow the land to stagnate in that succession phase from bare soil brought about by overgrazing to a biocrust. A biocrust is not a high succession environment. It is a low succession environment with very low productivity, maybe 1 to 2% productivity compared to a good grass stand with desirable species close together. So what should we do when we encounter a biocrust? Continuing doing set stocking, but at lower livestock densities as most agencies recommend? Completely destock, or as some people suggest? I have been to those wrongly called protected areas where livestock are excluded from the land. The land and plants in those arid to semi-arid environments go backward after the lack of animal impact degrades the soil, and the biocrust that was formed due to lack of plants from previous continuous grazing, the biocrust inhibits the best grass species from germinating. The grass plant species that can establish and dominate will be undesirable ones that have awns to penetrate the hard crust and thrive on the, by now, low oxygen content soils. The biocrust effectively seals the soil and inhibits water infiltration compared to a thriving community of desirable grasses close together, as would happen under the total grazing program. And we have the results in arid and semi-arid environments. Productivity can be greatly enhanced by utilizing this knowledge about succession. And I have observed the same in rainy environments, but in a different manner. A moss hard crust is created in the soil surface from years of continuous grazing. This biocrust impedes water infiltration, and I personally observed powder-dry soil under it in North Wales even after a week of rain. Of course, the roots of the forages were very short and productivity was very low, while in another spot close by, we observed the grass 7 times taller. We went to dig and found that the rain had infiltrated deeply and the grass roots and clover's roots were deep and strong. This happened due to the heifers staying there for a longer time, and the animal impact had been enough to break the biocross seal, and the grass and clover growth exploded. What needs to be done is to implement the total grazing program, and I cannot emphasize enough that it is a program, not a grazing style, and surely not an isolated event. And if you implement the program, you will get the best results. Why? Because we follow nature as it was designed. We consider basic plant physiology. We consider actual results, how soil humus or slow cycling carbon is created, and actual results that can be observable and measured, like increased stocking rates or cow days harvested per acre per year, desirable plants composition, number of growing points of desirable plants per square yard or every 10 yards on a Canfield line, organic matter percentage, water infiltration speed, etc. This is what you can learn in the Total Grazing Program online course. First, the why of the Total Grazing Program. Then, how to graze in the green season to get the highest quality grass for your livestock while grazing a much smaller portion of your land, allowing the rest of your property to grow for standing hay to be used later. How to graze in the dry or cold season to get as many cow days harvested per acre as possible. Remember that it is your dry or cold season your limiting factor in how many productive animals you can carry at a low cost per year in your farm or ranch. What to observe in your livestock manure and gut fill to make sure they have the best health. How to determine when to start offering a small amount of a high-protein supplement in the standing hay area, and only if needed. And how much would be the minimum amount of high-protein percentage supplement to maintain the rumen functioning. Getting the best nutrition to livestock classes that require them. Flexible and minimal infrastructure. Water lanes that double as ways to move your livestock around your farm, rectangular high-tensile paddocks with the high-tensile wire, with the design taking into account future increases in grass productivity, low initial cost, and low maintenance. This gives you ease of management. So if you want your land to improve and continue improving, you need to achieve the best soil and plant succession for you, your pastures, and your livestock. Conclusion and recap. Number 1, soil and plant succession involves your forage species and your soil's ability to feed and provide water for your best forage species. 2, on the forage plant side, we know that succession starts with pioneer species. Then it transitions to intermediate species and finally to climax species, with the quality of these species normally increasing in each step. There are some pioneer species that provide high-quality forage. 3, on the soil side, we know that increased humus or organic matter content, faster infiltration rates on clay soils, or more water being retained on sandy soils is important. Sandy soils darkening in color and your soil smelling more like forest litter soil, which means it is improving. We know that each 1% of organic matter your soil increases equals 25,000 gallons of water retained in your soil to be slowly released to plants and the aquifer, and 40 pounds of nitrogen slowly released for more forage growth. 4, our grazing management and our livestock impact will determine the leaf-to-stem ratio in the regrowth of our grasses, which will in turn determine the energy available for grass regrowth, the amount of root exudates to feed soil microorganisms, and the vigor of that regrowth. 5. We know that our livestock needs high-quality grass in the green season and a large amount of standing hay in the winter or dry season. 6. By implementing the Total Grazing program, you cover all these bases, giving your best species the chance to fully recover their energy reserves in roots and ground before being grazed again, ensuring the highest quality feed for your livestock in the green season, saving on hay in the dry or winter season, advancing your soil and plant succession every year, and improving your soil capacity to feed your best grass species for longer into the dry or winter season. Greatly increase your stocking rate with thriving livestock and drought-proof your soil while diminishing your hay costs. Well, I hope you enjoyed this podcast and it sparked some ideas and thought processes as to what can be achieved in your own land. The Total Grazing program is currently open for enrollment. You can enroll at www.rwranching.com/grazingpillar, all in one word. I really hope to see you there. Subscribe to our blogs at www.rwranching.com and be a part of our community. May God bless you all, and you and your family have a great week.